Yes, Commissioner. What? It's the 10th anniversary of The Dark Knight? I'll be right there.
Hi, I'm Kristin Smith.
I'm Paul Lacey.
And we're here today to talk about Batman.
Batman.
So normally what ends up happening here, if you want to know about Plugged In, is I come into work, not even 8 o'clock yet, I don't want to talk to anyone or hear anything except myself drinking coffee. And they are talking about nerdy things like Star Wars or Star Trek, and I can get on board for like...
We're a media discernment place. We got to talk about these geeky
Yes.
things. We got to talk about Star Wars. We got to talk about superheroes. We got to do all that sort of stuff.
That's all they do. But we don't work at all. So basically, at 8 o'clock, the conversation rolls around, and then they start talking about all these things, and normally I'm not interested, but today I am interested because we're talking about Batman, and I really like Batman.
You like Batman?
I do. Yeah, I really enjoy Batman. I don't know if it's...
That does my heart good.
I know, right? So why is he so culturally significant?
You know what? I think that there's a lot to this. Batman, if you don't know, is my favorite superhero character, and I like a lot of superhero characters. But Batman is my favorite, and I think one of the reasons why is because he is both so cool and so aspirational in a way. And yet he's really grounded in reality. You have Superman, you have Captain America, you have all these people who have these amazing abilities that are just born within them. And Batman, he's just a regular Joe. Now, he's a regular Joe with billions upon billions of dollars and a ton of martial arts training and the whole bit.
Right.
So, but at the same time, he feels like one of us a little bit more than some of these other characters.
Okay.
And I think that there's also something... This is something I wrote about in a book that I actually wrote all about Batman.
Wow.
But I also think that there's a spiritual component to the character. Because of who he is, we all know Batman's origin story, right? His parents died.
Yep.
He trains to fight criminals. He has this really strong code of honor, all that sort of stuff. He speaks to me in an almost spiritual way. Because he is very imperfect. You know that someone who dresses up as he does and goes out in the night has some issues, right?
Yeah.
But he is trying to follow a higher calling. He tries to do the right thing, and he holds to a higher moral order than the world around him does.
Yeah, Gotham's pretty dark.
Gotham's pretty dark, and there's a lot of death and awful stuff that happens within this world of his, and he has committed never to kill anybody. He's committed never to hold a gun. You could argue that he does some really questionable things. I mean, he really is a vigilante, but at the same time, he holds to a higher moral code than most of the people around him, and he tries to do the right thing, even in spite of his flaws. And I think that's, for me as a Christian, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We're trying to follow a higher calling, even though we're flawed and imperfect and broken. I think that in some ways, that character of Batman is really inspiring to me.
Yeah. So, I agree with that. I want to talk about my favorite Batman movie, though, because because it's the best.
The 10th anniversary.
It's the 10th anniversary of The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it, The Dark Knight is pretty awesome. I thought it was epic.
We'll get maybe in some ways where it's not quite so awesome.
There are some not awesome things, right. But I was on the edge of my seat almost the entire time that this movie was happening.
Yeah, so why did the movie resonate with you so much?
I thought it had the most dimension to me. Like, Heath Ledger, as he is the Joker, has played, that I've seen, the best Joker I've ever known. I mean, he was really creepy.
And that's always a powerhouse.
Yes, it really is. And I think out of all of the trilogy, right? He did such a good job that it felt the most almost ominous to me. Like, there was this very, creepy vibe. Yeah. But he played it so well because it was true to his character. And then the tension at the end between Batman and him was... it was just great.
It was really compelling.
Yes.
And I totally agree with you. And you have this element of chaos. Again, sort of this other spiritual component, I think, where he's this agent of chaos.
For no reason.
Exactly.
For the sake of chaos.
As Alfred says, some people just want to watch the world burn. And he is a destroyer of worlds. And I think that gets into a very deeply spiritual element in a way, where you have sort of this avatar of evil, evil incarnate, and the fact that you never know exactly where he comes from makes him all the creepier. He's just so creepy. The other thing that I really was compelled about with this particular movie was the character of Harvey Dent, the other bad guy in the movie, who becomes Two-Face, and you have this sense of he was a good guy who he fell from grace, essentially. Yeah. He became this very, very dark character who felt like the only fairness was in chance. And again, there's a certain amoral quality about that character, because I think that that's sometimes where we land without God. Yeah. We feel like the universe is just random. There's just a chance, and that's the only hope that we have of justice in the world, without God. And so I think that that's one of the reasons why it's so compelling. The other thing that I think has made The Dark Knight be as durable as it has, honestly, interestingly enough, it actually came out the same year that Iron Man did. And Iron Man, of course, launched this entire Marvel Cinematic Universe that has made billions upon billions upon billions of dollars. And arguably, Iron Man is the more influential movie because of that. It gave us what we know as sort of the superhero franchise. Yeah. The Dark Knight was just sort of this little bit of brilliant movie making. And it was the first movie, I think, that really made people within the cinematic community, people who watch movies and they look for the artistic merits within it. They looked at The Dark Knight and they said, this is a good movie. It's not just a good superhero movie. This is a good movie.
No, it was so well done. Yeah. I mean, like, from the beginning to end, the filming, the shots, like, everything that they did, I thought was precise.
Yeah. No, it was just great. And you can watch it again and again and pull something new from it each time. And that's, I think, a sign of a really good movie.
Yeah, it's true.
Now, that being said, maybe you shouldn't watch it again and again and again, because obviously there's some problems with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a movie that I'd put on for like my 7-year-old. It's not something that I want them to watch.
Yeah, no.
But it's
really dark and it's really scary.
It is. The Joker really does really freak you out. The movie is very creepy. He's very violent, right? He's super chaotic. I mean, there are moments where he shoves the guy's head of the table, the pencil. There are just like a lot of moments where you cringe.
You literally do, just like I did right then, just thinking about it. Yeah. You just sort of go, oh yeah, I remember that. I think that it's a movie that you need to be cautious about before bringing you or your family into it, for sure. It's a worthwhile movie, it's a good movie, and like I say, I think that there's some spiritual components that I find really fascinating. But be sure to check out the Plugged In review from 10 years ago now. And check out to see exactly what's in it and see if it's right for you and yours.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We hope you enjoy The Dark Knight.